You want to take that? Oh, do you sit there, sir? Okay, you take this one. I've got this down.
Yours is on the stand, Tom. Oh, there we go.
Mine is right here.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's nice to see everyone. A little less ukulele. But it's going to save a lot of time for the cues in the Q&A. Pretty fancy, huh? I practiced. When I'm flying in a plane or I'm on the street, there's a lot of friendly people that I like to meet. They shake my hand but never ask my name, and they start asking questions that are always the same. Hey, what's Michael J. Fox like? He's nice. What's Christopher Lloyd like? What's Crispin Glover like? Unusual. Stop asking me the question. Went to the bar mitzvah of my nephew Josh. I'm not Jewish, but I like to nosh. Put on my yarmulke, started to pray, when the rabbi leaned over and I heard him say, hey, was that real manure? No, it wasn't. How was that DeLorean? A piece of garbage. Do those hoverboards really fly? It's a movie. Stop asking me the question. Can we take your picture? Come on, look mean. Would you call my friend a butthead on his answering machine? No. Questions fill my head. I went to my doctor said, hey Tom, what does a key grip do? Set up lights. What does the best boy do? Help the key grip. What does a producer do? I don't know, stop asking me the question. Do you all hang out together? No, we don't. How's Crispin Glover? I never talked to him. Back to the Future 4 is not happening. Stop asking me the question. Hey, who's the nicest famous guy you know? Matt Damon. Who is the biggest jerk? Gary Busey. How much money do you make? More than you do. Stop asking me the question. Settle yourselves. We have to continue with Mr. Lloyd.
I thought you were going to do 2 or 3 songs. That's
I was
what you
gonna
said backstage.
I said I was going to do 3 songs, but I was afraid during the second song you were going to begin to vamp and dance and do some shtick. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Are you having a good time this weekend? Huh? Is this fun or what? This is excellent.
But they have no questions for you now, that's the thing.
All right, well, we finished it with a song, so thanks everybody for coming. They'll validate your parking over in... I'll be good now.
Okay, so...
Gets to ask questions when I say they get to ask questions. Do you understand me, buddy? Hey, I've got... But here's a recommendation. Cosplay Biff, the chick's date. It was a lot of fun to be in the movie, and it was a lot of fun to work with actors like Chris.
Yeah, it's not a mutual...
He doesn't care for me, but I don't care.
I do remember a Back to the Future story where they would play Back to the Future in theaters around here and there in Los Angeles, and they asked me to come and be like a surprise guest after the film and do a Q&A. And a young gentleman, just like you, raised his hand to ask a question, and he got the mic. The question was, now that you're older, do you regret not having to use old age makeup? No, you're not your question.
My question was it going to be a Back to the Future 4?
Maybe you want to sing that song again.
Future 4, not happening. Stop asking. I don't think so. I don't think there is, because you know why? And I'll tell you the honest story was that the studio went to the filmmakers, Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis, when we were making Back to the Future 2. The script for Back to the Future 2, remember Paradox, was this thick. And they thought, well, we'll make it, but we'll cut things out of the script and things like that. And we'll make, well, they didn't want to cut out the Old West. They didn't want to cut out the future. They didn't want to cut out, so they said, we have 2 movies here. So can we make 2 movies? Back to the Future 2, and then Back to the Future 3. The first time any studio had ever done that. Now many movies do that, Harry Potter movies and things like that. That was the first time. But the filmmaker said, well, we'll do that. We'll make the second one and then the third one. But you have to get our permission to do a 4th one, and we will not give it. That will be it then. Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. It will make sense. It will have a through line, and we won't sort of, you know, wreck it and make Back to the Future 7, Doc opens a disco, you know, that whatever. Doc opens a disco. They go back to 1977.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, thanks, mate. Right, let's have another question then.
I even played Lorraine. Not a lot of people know that. My favorite had to be Mad Dog Tannen, Buford Mad Dog Tannen. Because as Chris knows, now Chris had a ranch in Montana and he knew horses.
Where are we going with this?
Well, that it was such a thrill for me, who didn't have experience in riding horses. I mean, I got to learn how to ride horses by a man named Corky Randall, who had ridden with John Wayne, who'd ridden stunts, who taught John Ford how to ride a horse. I mean, I got to learn how to ride from him. Arvo Ojala, quick draw, Hollywood expert who knew how to quick draw. And Arvo was like 80 years old, an older man, going very slowly, except when he drew the gun, you know? He showed up, moving very gingerly. Now, Tom, when you want to draw the gun, you just move your thumb. He was the fastest gun in the West. So that was a great thrill, because those kind of movies, to this day, they're just not made very much anymore. A big budget Western with horses and cattle and all sorts of things. So to me, that was very exciting. And really, what guy doesn't want to do that in a Western? The pushing, you know, I'd always wanted to push the doors of the saloon open. You know, you do that, you're wearing spurs, you know, you just ching, 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 you know, you push, and just because you walked in the room, all the tables move, everyone, oh my God, he's here, you know. You McFly, you know, whatever. That thing of being the tough, you know, that's a thrill to do that in a movie, you know? What was your favorite one to do?
My favorite of the
favorite
3
Back to the
movies
Future? Yeah,
was number 3. Number 3. It was number 3. And I had Doc had a romance with Clara. You bet. I think it's the only romance I've had in my career. You better pick this up.
There was that weekend with Jack Nicholson you told me about. Never mind. That stays right in this room. But it was a great thrill because you just didn't get to, well, that's the thing. That you didn't get to do a lot of love scenes or a love interest in the movies, and you got to do that in the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I didn't get to ride horses or be a big gunslinger, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Judge Stu, nah. Klingon,
No romance. No Klingon romance.
No.
Okay, we've got a question.
Don't anybody feel sorry for me.
Well,
They really don't, do they?
first of all, I wanted to thank you two for coming here. We're big fans. Thank you very much for
We're
being your
related.
fans.
We're not just fans, we're related.
I know, right? Great Scott! I know, we're related, except that I'm super fat, but it's okay, never mind. I wanted to know, if you could go to a convention, like wine convention or book convention, what kind of convention would it be? If you could go to something you like.
Jacob, son here, maybe you can help me No. What kind of convention? I don't know.
I would go to the London Film and Comic Con. I hope they got that for a commercial or something, because that's...
I hope so too.
Yeah, me too. Because we didn't even understand what we were doing when we were filming this. What do you mean? But it's not a viewer really, it's a player now. You're actually entertaining a player, and there were several different directions that a scene could take. So you had to memorize the scene where the woman gets angry at me, or the scene where I go off on a mission, or the scene where, because they could make a decision on the computer, so it was just an odd way of approaching acting in a scene. But as Chris says, it is, the cameras roll, and you just do it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Next question. Because by that point, you know, the visitors to the set, and everyone says, oh, this is a classic. So I remember them bringing me a pair of pants, and Biff in the casino had custom-made clothing and robes and everything, and it was getting to the point where they said, now please be very careful with these pants, Tom, because this is our last pair. And I said, I went and fitted these pants. We've had like a dozen pairs of pants. Yes, they've all been stolen. All the pants are gone. So props and clothing was just vanishing left and right. And, you know, when it came late in the third movie, I'm saying, you know, is there something, I don't mean something expensive, I mean just something that you can keep, oh, we can't have it because maybe reshoots. Maybe we'll have reshoots. I can't, like, just one of the shirts, something to remember that we just love to, Tom, we just can't do it. Well, you know, I've seen them all on eBay over the years.
That's true.
Because they vanish. So I don't think there's no great treasure trove of stuff in my house, certainly.